art believers, and welcome to day 109 of 200 Days of Drawing. This is Pierson here, and you are watching the #1 live art streamer in the world. Now, little caveat, I am not the #1 artist in the world. I'm the #1 live art streamer in the world. Big difference, right? Anyways, so today, I had a, not today, it was actually yesterday. I had an epiphany of sorts. And that epiphany was I am severely deficient in almost all the basic artistic skills that I need, or that I strive to be. And it's not for lack of trying. I think it's for lack of like direction, time, a multitude of things. Like I'm really good at certain things, but I'm not a generalist when it comes to my own art ability. So I can't just like, oh, here, draw this or draw this. Like I can only draw specific things really well. Like some people can only draw faces really well. I typically can do things really well if I have a lot of time to prepare, or a lot of time to work on said project. So basically, the thing that makes me a good artist is the ability to spend a lot of time on something and to improve through that, and through that vein of artistic like study. But like when it comes to like create characters or do imaginary landscapes, very weak in that regard. So I am going to change this whole platform a little bit. We're going to change it up. We're going to change it up today, and from for this next 30 days, it's just going to be me studying wood and trees. I'm going to be focusing on drawing trees and nature and stuff of that light. And then after that, I think I'm going to go with rocks or something. I don't know. I think it's going to be like this next 100 days is going to be like a material study expedition. So I hope you enjoy the process. Today is another tree. I'm going to go a little bit deeper into the process because yesterday was a train wreck. No joke. It was a train wreck. So this time is going to be a little bit better. So let's begin. All right. So I got some music going on. Yeah, bro. Ooh, I wish I could play it. I wish you could hear it. So let's begin this. We need a background tone. We're just going to go for the blue, like a grayish, light grayish blue. And we're going to let's do something like that, right? We're going to do the branches. Actually, we're going to make another layer. You don't see it, but I'm going to title it Outline. And today, we're going to do an outline. Okay. Hello, how are you doing today? There we go. That's what we want. So I had this idea. I'm going to do the outline of the branches. And we're not going to deal with the leaves at this moment. I don't know yet. I don't know how it's going to go. So let's start with something here. I was doing some observations of trees, and it felt like they were kind of like, if you were to break down the inside of a tree, it felt like there were kind of like 3 or 4 cylinders that were bound together, right? And so that's what I was thinking about when I was looking at a tree. Is like they feel like there's 4 cylinders or something like that, or 3 cylinders that are connected, that allows for that kind of like base of sorts. So that's what I was seeing. I'm going to shrink this down. I'm not going to spin that around. Right, I'm going to try this out. So I'm going to draw small. Now, I'm being a little bit too loose. I mean, too rigid. So I'm gonna try to loosen this up. Again, doing like organic stuff. Is not my forte. You know, I just don't draw trees and such. It's not what I kind of do. So I was watching so I had to kind of backpedal, right? I had to backpedal and I had to re-examine what I was doing wrong. And one of those things was I didn't like do a good base drawing, and I kind of just trusted that I'd be able to wing it. And some days I can do that without a hiccup, and then other days it's just like, whoa, that's awful, right? So I don't like this. I'm gonna erase that. So I don't know what I'm doing with regards to this tree because I don't really draw trees. So we're going to think that they're like 3 or 4 cylinders kind of going up, and then maybe they have like a big branch here from that main cylinder here. Maybe there's a big branch right here, you know. And I'm going to pretend that like the tree itself, right, is like a knife, right, or a dagger. So that's what I'm trying to start. I'm starting to think of it differently. I had to really look around and do a little bit of observation when I was drawing, because I was or when I made this giant faux pas from yesterday. So it really opened my mind. So I'm going to think about how I can draw this tree. Again, I don't really know. I'm just going to have to go slower than I normally go, because that's just something I don't really do, is go slow. I like to go fast, and it just goes against my knowledge base, right? So we're just going to go. Maybe I just do something like this where they have kind of little spears going out here. So I'm imagining the tree as if it's just like I stripped off all the leaves, but with like 100 times less branches, because you know, if you look at a tree, there's hundreds of branches, right? And I just, obviously you can't, you know, well, I guess you could render them all if you had the time, but I don't really have that kind of time. And this is something I've been doing. This is a new thing for me. Okay, everyone, this is very new. I haven't used the hard edge like brush to create the underdrawing. So this is a little different for me. It's like drawing. I can turn down the volume here. I got a lot of music. I got music in the background. I don't like it. I don't mind it in the background, but I don't mind it in the background. But let's see here. Can you hear me? Yeah, good. There you go. I don't mind it in the background, but I don't want it like too loud. All right, so we're gonna shrink it down a little bit more. I'm gonna move it a little bit, play around with it. Then I'm going to press B. So this is going to be something different you don't ever see me do. It's something, a more involved drawing of sorts. And I can do pretty decent drawings. Oh, this kind of looks like a dagger. I don't know. I might just remove some of this stuff, right? I can do pretty decent drawings if I have enough time and a little bit of studying. So I did watch a few other people draw trees, and I'm trying to extrapolate what I gathered from them, and I'm going to try to apply them to this drawing. So I don't know what I'm going to do after this. I think what I'm going to do after I got to at least define these branches a little bit. So I got to keep pushing them and pick ones that I like, because I don't have a clue where they're going. Again, this is not this is not like the things that I draw. Like, things that I draw are not trees. I don't go out of my way like, oh, I'm gonna wake up and draw trees today. So this is something new to me, and I'm gonna use this. Okay. I'm assuming we're just gonna make these like these little trees right here. I'm gonna try to be a little bit more chaotic up here. Right, just be a little bit more chaotic. Maybe add some branches here, branches right here. Again, it's going to take me a while to really get used to this. So once it happens, it's going to be magical. Like, I'm going to start loosening up here, and then you're going to start seeing things start to develop out of nowhere. You know? Now, the reason why I struggle with digital media is because it's just so foreign to me, and I struggle on a lot on like how much work I have. Like, what do I struggle with? I struggle with everything. I struggle with all of it. So I'm imagining I'm just drawing the branches here, and I heard this point from someone, like, when you're doing branches, you want to just like, it's like these repeated V's. And I thought it was really good. I liked what she had to say, but the way she was saying was weird. She was she was V V V V V V V. I was like, oh man, that makes sense, but I feel like I'm making a dagger tree. Okay, so I think we have something to work with. Let's go in a little bit, and we'll shrink this down a little bit, and maybe we're gonna maybe we'll do something I normally don't do, which is do a second outline, but a little bit more in depth, a little bit more detailed. So we'll see how this goes. I wonder if it's going to be if I should do this. But, I don't know. Again, I don't go about I don't wake up every morning and I'm like, "Hey, let's draw a tree here." So we're going to draw, just going to make the lines a little bit more detailed, less loose. I mean, less loose, kind of just define them a little bit more. And as I said, as I start getting more used to doing it, I get a little bit better. I'm like Brawly from Dragon Ball Z, where like he's just getting better. His fighting ability is getting better and better as he's warming up. And so I'm going to have this outline drawn out, and I think what I'm going to do is we're going to use a very dark. Um, I think I might do like a grayish brown, because one thing I was noticing that a lot of people was doing was they were drawing their trees like brown. Now, wood is brown when it's cut open, right? When you take the branches out and right, and then you when you cut the branches out and the inside of the wood is brown, or like a light brown. But usually the bark is generally not brown. I was actually looking. I was kind of astounded. It's kind of like a grayish. A lot of the branches, the bark is grayish actually. So I again, if you're watching this, you're like, if you're wondering why the trees maybe not look, it doesn't look so good. It's because I don't know what I'm doing. So I'm hoping to get a this kind of like, my goal is to get this drawing done in an hour or get it to a level of completion in an hour. So I'm working to get this kind of outline to a level of completion. And then I'm going to be looking at more and more like examples of how people draw trees, and I'm going to see if I can apply to that some of it. All right, look at this. We're making we're making a beautiful tree. I'm a noob. You're like, what is? Again, I won't know what is like overkill until I do it. So like this amount of like branch work might be overkill, but until I work on it and figure out what is necessary and what is not necessary, I won't know. So right now, I'm just playing around and then seeing where it's going to take me because I don't know if this is overkill or not because I think a lot of this is probably going to be like I can probably guarantee like 70% of these branches are going to be kind of disappeared or kind of go to the background. So I'm still going to draw them. Again, this is I don't know enough about this. I don't know enough about the program. I watched some other artists and they already had like prefab brushes that make like this this texture, like this brush texture, like a leaf texture, like it's like a leaf brush. It makes leaf like brushes or leaf like strands or yeah, this makes whenever you make a stroke with your brush, it kind of looks like a leaf, right? So, you know, all right. All right. So we got like a tree here. Mm-hmm. Now, what's the best thing to do? So now we're just gonna fill in the branches with an opaque. I wonder if there's a way. I wonder if I can use a select lasso to um, or a magic wand. Where's the magic wand? So I'm looking for the tool that'll allow me to select. Okay, the magnetic lasso tool, polygon lasso tool. So we get the eyedropper. I might just forego that and not worry about it, and we're gonna go and to brown, and we're gonna do like a dark brown here. We're gonna use an opaque brush and just fill it all up, you know, like a really, really dark brown. Like this is a really dark brown. I don't need to copy it. And we're just gonna do that. I know that there's a way to like use a lasso, but I just don't know how to use it at this moment. So we're gonna fill this up with a dark brown. Just a dark brown like this. And I'm sure there's a better way of doing this. In fact, I know there is. Just don't know. I just don't know the fast way to do it. I've seen people use the lasso tool, but I don't know how to use the lasso tool and like to. I don't know. I know how to use it like in general, but like I don't know how. I don't know how they're using it to select specific parts and remove parts. So I have to do a little bit of research in that regard. So I wonder how much like how tight I have to be with my line. Like maybe just me being like just outlining it or like filling these areas up, and if it's off a little bit, that might be good, right? I think maybe doing that and not worrying about it being perfect might be a good thing because it might make it feel a little bit more organic. So as you can see, I'm just filling up the area with one mass. And then I'm going to play around with the what I might do next. I don't know what I'm going to do next. I don't know if I'll be able to get this drawing done in an hour. I'm super slow. So I'm purposely not like worrying about whether I'm in the lines on this one. So I'm probably one of the next skills I'm going to learn how to do with this is figure out how to do the lasso tool. I think that's going to be my next thing to figure out how to do because I saw people use the lasso tool and they're able to outline this whole thing and basically paint bucket it. And at the moment, I just where the magic wand tool is at. I forgot where it's at. All right, here we go. Look at that simple little. So I'm just thinking about. I'm trying not to worry about whether I'm doing the right actions. I'm just doing. I'm trying to move along. I'm really ups. I'm a little bit frustrated over the fact that I'm not able to um, get this outline done quicker. But I'm going to think about like what will be a what will be what's too much and too little. So I think what I might do is use this as a base point to what I need to do next. If I were to do another drawing like this, how much is too little? How much is too much? Gotta get this mouse out of the way. It's in my way. All right. So I'm thinking because this is going to be the tree is going to be like the branches. You're not going to see a lot of them. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to just do like a simple like once over with the detail on the branches themselves, and then really focus on where the area that I need to kind of focus on. What I'm probably going to do is I'm going to get these branches outlined, and then I'm going to kind of draw out where I think I want to do the trees or the leaves, sorry. And then from there we'll move on. So I can have an idea what areas I'm going to need to be focusing on with the details, what areas I don't need to be worrying about. So the goal is to actually get this done today. Looks like I may have gotten a bit more than I could chew. I did procrastinate a little bit. I was going to start earlier, but I was like, you know what? I'm dreading. I'm dreading starting getting back up on the saddle because I had such a bad drawing session yesterday. I was like, can I even do it? I was looking at myself. I was doing a little bit of self reflection. Like, am I even? Do I even have the ability? And I know I do to some in a rudimentary basic level, right? I know I have this uh, some of the skill sets necessary for it. Now, what I don't have is the knowledge base that a lot of the individuals that are working on Photoshop. I don't know. I don't understand the shortcuts enough. Um, I don't know certain tricks that allow you to kind of speed up your process, or the tricks that I do know, it's not apparent for me to use in certain situations. You know, you know. So right now, just kind of playing around, and then we'll get better as we go along with it. What I like what I'm doing right now is because I'm kind of going a little fast. What's good about that is it gives the branches like a less consistent feel. Like, it allows it makes it feel more organic, and that's just because I'm being very loose with the line work. I'm not trying to fit those lines in my drawing, right? Or in the underline. I'm not trying to fill in the under drawing, the outline fully. One thing I don't like about this opaque brush is it doesn't taper. So I'm gonna have to look at like maybe my ink brushes and see if I can find some like ink brushes that do something like that taper. I think that will help to have a brush that allows for a taper, because that will allow me to adjust for line quality easier. Because right now I'm having to like switch the line weight using certain keys. I wonder if there's a way to do this on like the actual drawing tablet. I think there is a way. I just don't know how to use it. This goes again. Like, I don't know the hardware. I don't know the software. Like, I don't know how to do any of this stuff. I'm just going at with like a slightly better than average drawing ability. Okay, so now we have branches. We're gonna do something here. We're not gonna do that. Get out of here. There we go. This is what I want to do. I want to do the marquee tool, and I want to center this. That's fine. We can remove the outline. We don't need that. So now we have our little like tree here. All right. So what I want to do is I want to do something like this. We're gonna go do like a right here. I don't know what I'm doing, so I'm just gonna figure out what I'm doing right now. So what this is gonna be here is I'm imagining that this is gonna be like our background tree. These are the leaves in the background. Right? This is what I was imagining. I was imagining I was going to have like 3 layers. I was going to have the branches, and then I was going to have a background layer, and then I was going that I could put like the leaves that are in the background, and then I was going to have a foreground layer that some of the other leaves are going to be at. So I was going to do something like this. Okay, now front leaves, we're going to do so I'm doing them rather darkly. I'm doing them at dark, right? Darker. Okay. And what I want to do is I'm going to get those back leaves out, so I know, and I'm not going to, so I don't have it kind of dictate how I'm going to do the leaves in the front. you know, so that I don't want the background leaves dictating how I'm constructing the leaves in the front. So that's going to change how this is going to look. Just imagine there's some trees, branches in the front here. It's being very arbitrary with this, right? And again, I'm going to have to do a little bit more research on like how can I make a decent tree, you know? So I have like 30 minutes left, supposedly, but I'll probably spend more time on it. Probably not. I don't know. I'm going to use this as a catapult to how I'm going to improve. So I'm going to be doing 30 days of trees, and I'm going to in that time I'm going to be looking at how other people do their trees, and I'm going to try to improve my process. I might be drawing trees from life outside of doing digital like these live streams. I don't know. So now that we have that, see we have the background trees, like you barely see them. They're there, right? So now, um, what I want to do is I want to leave. I'm going to leave the. I'm going to work on the leaves now. I think that's what I'm going to do. First, we're going to work on the leaves first. Um, get the lights in there. You know, so that's what we're going to do. But we're going to do something different. Like we're not going to. I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to be doing. I don't know if I'm going to be doing like a. I think what I might be doing is I just might. Let's go really dark. Get those dark tones in there. I'm going to start simple and then maybe I'll start refining. I had this idea when I was drawing these trees, or when I was looking at trees, and I was thinking, what can I do um, without really doing much, or how can I finish a drawing in a certain amount of time because I don't have a lot of experience with drawing quickly. So my idea was maybe like the shadows will be like these abstractions, right? That's my thought process. I was going to have them like abstractions, and then I was going to add highlights, and then the areas that had like highlights on them, I would define the leaves a little bit more, but leave like the darker areas as like these kind of like this blurry mass. I don't know yet. I don't know how I'm going to proceed at this moment, but I'm just going to do something like this at the moment, and we're just going to keep tweaking it. I'm going to change something. There we go. I didn't want the background to be gray. I wanted a blue sky or something blue to kind of play around right now. Okay, front leaves. Okay, I thought I was drawing anything. It's being really abstract at this moment. Then maybe, again, this is just practice. I don't know how far I'm going to get along. I'm probably going to end it in half an hour and then go back to the drawing board. I think you can blend this faster. I don't know how. I think it's a. So I'm just kind of like playing around with the seeing if like making little dots will make it feel more like leaves without actually having to render leaves, you know? What I want to do is let's move all this stuff out of the way. Let's go and let's make another layer. And let's work on these back leaves for a second, you know? See what happens when I work on these a little bit. really make the back leaves a little a little bit darker. Right, just kind of work on that and see what happens. Again, not really not worrying about how it's gonna affect the front. I don't want it to dictate the outcome of the front drawing. You know. So I'm doing some cooler colors on the background shadows on the leaves in the background, and warmer colors on the leaves in the foreground. Um, that's something I just heard and reminded me. It just reminded me of what I need to be more aware of when I'm doing these drawings. So I'm not worrying too much about these. At this point, but I am going to render it a little bit more. Maybe try doing something like this, right? Ooh, do something like this right here. Put a little bit, put this like. Maybe I need like the keyboard to the side of me, right? So I can type in some things, right? All right. So let's again, not much really happened in the back. It didn't really change the front too much, but I wanted it there, right? So at least that I had at least it was there for me to work from. I think what I need to do next time, I learned quite a bit when I drew this. It's not the best, but I did learn something. So I think I can take that and try to apply it to something else. I need to figure out how I can transition to play around with leaves and such like that. So this is something I'm just kind of thinking about. I gotta really I gotta work on that and see what I can do to kind of make it feel like leaves, right? So not bad for a first like try at this. An actual like going through the process. Again, I'd have to play it around I'd have to do this over and over again. I have to do some research and see how other people are doing their marks, because there's obviously a disconnect in knowledge base. Not always skilled, but also just like knowledge. Like this feels like a generic tree. It's not really fantastic by any means. It's not dynamic. So I got to look. I'm probably gonna have to start studying that kind of stuff to really become versatile in that sense. Because this feels like, oh, this is just a simple little drawing. It's not really like a. It's not like standing out. It just feels like a children's book tree, right? If I zoom in 154%, I don't know what I'm doing. All right, so not a bad first try. Things are a little green, too green for my liking. I probably need to start thinking about color and how I can play around with color in my drawing. But at this point, at this juncture of this drawing, So I'm gonna work on it for about 9 more minutes. Let's call it a day. You know, and then I'll come back with a clearer mind. But I think this was enlightening. It helped a bit to kind of think about it. But it's going to take me a while, right? It's going to take me some practicing, to really and some research. I'm going to look at some like people's examples. I can't spend all day on it, so I'm going to have to figure out maybe a modified version of this. Um, and I'm going to start thinking about dynamic like positioning because right now it just feels like a tree drawn in a center. It's not great, you know. I'm so behind on the ability to draw from imagination. It doesn't help that I'm an incredibly slow learner. Like, it's one of those things. It takes me about 3 to 5 to 10 times longer than the average person to understand these things. And like I have to really, really work at it. Hmm. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go a little bit more micro and see what I can do. Yeah, so I'm sorry I'm not really talking much. I'm just at this point where I'm playing around a little bit. I'm trying to see what I can kind of get away with, and I'm using this as a gauge of how much time I need to have to do certain things. So what I might do is I might have to like simplify the process a little bit, not do something so elaborate. Um, Maybe like one giant like if I were to continue this, it would just be like a giant ovally circle of leaves and not all these branches. So I have an idea of how I can kind of streamline the process to make this drawing to get farther along. And I'll have to do more research on like what I would need to do to really to up my game on this stuff because to be honest with you, I don't know where I need to go, and I don't know how to speed up the process because it's just like it's a hardware and software issue. Like I don't know the software well enough, and because of that, it's causing issues with the speed. And I would assume that the type of drawing that I'm looking for, like to really to really improve or to like finish a drawing like this would take me about 5 hours, and I want to be able to make a drawing probably within like a 30 minutes to an hour range. So I'm gonna have to simplify the tree. So instead of having multiple bushes like this, maybe like two or three, I'm gonna do that and see what I can push in that time frame and really focus on that because right now this is like way too much stuff to deal with visually, right? The oldest tree ever. Some people try to cut down the tree, but others defend it. There is a constant battle between the two groups. Care about the groups come to the tree to pray for the rest. The wishing tree, is that true? That's very cool. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing. I can't even zoom out. It's way too green. I needed to look up play around with color theory. I need to research how to kind of manipulate color to my advantage. Especially on digital media. I have to like whenever I do a I just made that up. I was like, oh my gosh, that's a crazy cool true stories right there. I didn't. I was like, oh my gosh. All right, I think I can't do much more to it. I don't have much time. I don't have the patience for it today. I learned something. What I did today is I decided that I wanted to start out with like layers and kind of reverse engineered some of the things I saw from other people's drawings, tutorials. Clearly, though, there's a disconnect because a lot of the tutorials I watched, it's all in time lapse, and because it's all in time lapse, they don't really tell you what they're doing. There's like, here's what I'm doing really fast, and like it's just showing you how they're doing it in time lapse, but they're not telling you what like, oh, I'm using this brush, or I made a brush for this, or I set this at this setting. Oh, this is the color I was using. And so I need to really kind of backpedal it and do a little bit of research on color. Um, Really not that like I'm okay at color, but I have to spend a lot of time just fiddling with it. I probably need to be a little bit more aggressive with my research or like studies and like to the point where I know exactly what I'm doing when I need to do it. Like what color works for other colors. So that's something I'm gonna have to start reading upon and looking up videos and doing a little bit of back background study. But this turned out a little bit better. I'm not dissatisfied with it, but it's not great. Again, I'd really have to fiddle around with it to get it going in the direction that I want it to be, and that would involve me actually going really micro and going into these details and just shrinking that brush down and really going really small in every whatever leaf type thing. So I'm stuck in this position where, like, what's too much detail, what's too little detail. Again, it's way too green. I'll give you that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to sign it. That's it. We're just going to call it like I'm going to put, where is it? Oh, I had that one, color dodge, normal. All right, it's in color dodge for some reason. 21. Tree study. And what day is it? Oh, I know what I need to do now as well. 109 out of 200. So I got to do, tomorrow's gonna be 110, and I'm gonna watch another video and then try to break down what I saw there and see if I can improve upon this model. Because there's some things that I'm very good at doing. I'm really good at traditional drawing, but like when you give me a bunch of like brushes and they're like Sharpies, but they're not like Sharpies. It's like, what? I'm very confused at it. Even after doing some really, really good drawings. Yeah. So even after doing some really, really good drawings, I'm gonna save this. I'm gonna pause. I'm gonna turn this off. 1 second. So I want to show you something. I'm gonna get out of here. Remove this real quick. We're going to save this as, I think, 109, day 109. And then I'm going to show you briefly one of my drawings that I'm working on, so you get an idea. So this is just a little heads up. When I have time and I'm able to fiddle around with things, I can do pretty good. So this is what I'm working on right now. This is a drawing that I'm working on right now. I'm going to rotate it for you. I draw it mostly upside down. I drew it, right? Yeah, so this is the drawing I'm working on right now. So I just wanted to show you that this is what I kind of work. This is one of my pieces that I work on outside of these tree drawings. Now, again, it's a pretty good drawing. It's taken me a while to kind of feel around with it. Again, once I get momentum and I'm really playing around with the colors, I get an understanding of what I'm doing. I can develop it to a good extent. But like when I'm trying to do something in an hour, not so much. I just don't have that ability yet. So that's one of the goals within this next 100 days. The first 30 days is going to be me drawing trees, and each day is going to get a little bit better. And I'm going to be looking at examples and trying to take those examples and not improve upon them, but like incorporate them and so forth. So that's what I've been doing lately. So yesterday I watched something. I was like, okay, I'm going to see if I can do that. So the new thing that I did, which really helped, was I drew the branches first, and I took that a little bit further, and I thought about what if they were I don't know what I was going to say. I don't know what I was going to say there. Anyways, this is one of my drawings. I hope you enjoy this. I can zoom in real quick. A little zoom in. there's lots of little bitty color action that you don't see. Yeah, so that's one of the drawings I've been working on outside. Well, hopefully I didn't make that mark there. There's a mark right there. I don't know if I did that. I just won't save it. Anyways, I hope you have a wonderful day. That is it. I am done. If you enjoyed the drawing, please subscribe to my Twitch or YouTube channel. I live stream every day. They're not scheduled. They're just kind of random whenever I have an open area of time, and it's usually at night or in the afternoon. Unfortunately, I can't show you my cool drawings because my cool drawings require a little bit more focus. I hope you have a wonderful day. This is Pierson here, and you are watching the #1 live art streamer in the world. Even though his art is not the best, it is mediocre at best. All right. Have a wonderful day. Pierson out. Don't forget to subscribe.